Alright, hello everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. Today what we're going to be doing is, we're going to be comparing a bagless vacuum versus a bagged vacuum. How these machines are different and how they are totally the same. These do have their similarities and they do have their differences. Obviously a couple things that make these, very much alike. First of all, these are both the same brand. These are both Dirt Devil. These are both Featherlight, because these both say Featherlight on them. So these are basically they're the same model machine. These vacuums, they both require you to attach the hose to the machine. They obviously, they both blow air out from the exhaust. Those are, basically the similarities that these have. The differences. These have quite a few differences. Obviously, this one is bagged. This one requires bags, so you have to use bags for this in order to use it. While this one here is bagless. This one just has a dirt cup where when you're done vacuuming, you just, unlock this and you empty this out in the garbage can. And you clean the filter off, and then once you clean that, you just put this back on. So again, this one you have to put a bag in it, and you put the bag inside the vacuum, and then you vacuum your floor, and then once the bag gets full, you take the old bag out and you put a new one in. So with this one, you have to literally buy bags for it. While this one, you just have to, once you're done vacuuming, empty all the, stuff you picked up out of the dirt cup, clean the filter, clean the inside, and eventually, when this filter goes bad, you will need to replace it. Although, these will last long, if you take care of them. Like these filters, they will last a very long time if you, for example, if you blow this filter off after every single time you vacuum, these will definitely last you a very long time. You just have to take care of it. Even though this will get discolored after being used, that's going to happen. That's not going to affect how the filter works. It just gets discolored from, all the dirt and dust that gets onto it. Versus when you get a brand new filter, you know how white the filter is? I'll show you an example of that. So, this right here, take a look at this. You can see this filter inside here. See how nice and white this is? So, you can obviously tell this filter here is barely used because it's still very clean. Versus this one, you see how it's discolored? That's because, this vacuum was used. So clearly you can tell this vacuum was, frequently used because the filter is dirty. Well, this one here is not really used as much or very, very lightly used. So the filter is not as dirty as it is with this one. And yeah, so yeah, those are the two differences. Another difference that these vacuums have, these are not the same color. This one is red. This one is like more of a darker blue color. Also another difference, this one has a stretchy hose. See, this has a stretch hose, and this one has more of a, an unstretchy plastic type of hose. So if you wanted a vacuum where you want to stretch the hose out, very far, I think this vacuum is better for that, because this has a nice stretch hose. Well, this one is just a plastic crappy hose where you can't really stretch it out much. So that one thing that makes this one better is how this has a stretch hose. So yeah. Another difference, this is direct air, this is clean air. So again, even though these do have the same feature where you have to connect the hose to the vacuum, this one is clean air, because on the bottom here, there's no suction that comes from the bottom. The suction comes from up in this area here. While on this one here, the suction does come from the bottom. You take your hose, you connect it to this little slot, and the suction comes from this hole down here. While this one, you just take the hose off. No suction comes from here. It comes from up here. So suction does come from this hose, but the suction's coming from up in this area. So that's what makes these different. So this is direct air, and this is clean air. So let's say you wanted a vacuum that doesn't blow out that much dust, because direct airs, these do blow out lots of dust, because these are direct air vacuums. Especially if you have a terrible bag in it that is leaking, you're going to have problems with these blowing out lots of dust. While since this is a clean air, you're not really going to have that issue, because these don't really blow out as much dust. They might, but not as bad as direct airs do. And that's why these are called clean airs, because they're more cleaner than these are. Not to mention, since this is a direct air machine, with this vacuum here, everything you suck up it passes right through the fan. So you don't want to suck up anything too hard, or else you're going to shatter the fan. And with these vacuums, it's not easy to get that fan replaced, because these are old vacuums, and Dirt Devil does not make fans for these anymore. Like, this vacuum was made in 1999, so if you do find a fan for this, you're going to have to find one off of another exact same vacuum. While this one here, it's easier to find fans, because this is a 2010, 2011 model. So with this one, it's more likely you're going to find a fan compared to this one here. These vacuums both have the power switch on the bottom. I'll show you that. They do both have the power switch in the same area. You got a power switch here, power switch here. This is your handle release for this one, and there's the handle release for this. So those are another similarity about these two. Again, this one here, this only requires bags. This one requires an F1 filter. So once the filter is no good, you got to replace it. But the good news is it's pretty easy to get these filters replaced. It only costs like around maybe $26 on eBay. That's how much it costed for me to get mine. But yeah, with this one you have to buy the Dirt Devil bags. Because obviously if you use it without a bag, all the dirt's going to be going all over the place. And this inside is going to be full of dirt, and you don't want that. So make sure you use it with a bag. And also make sure you have this door here properly installed. That's another way you're going to get dust spewing all over the place. And people don't install these doors correctly. So make sure you install this right. Now this one here, do not use it without the filter in there. If you do, all the dirt you suck up, it's going to go right to the motor. And that's what I noticed when I first got this vacuum. There was literally crap like going right to the motor because it had no filter in it. And because, there was stuff going to the motor, that told me it was used without the filter. So do not be like that. Make sure there's a filter in here at all times. If you don't have a filter, then buy one. Or else you're going to kill your motor. That's, not only do these HEPA filters, keep the allergies from escaping the vacuum, but this filter also keeps the motor safe from all the dirt and dust. And that's also why you got to make sure you keep this filter nice and clean, because this filter is what protects the motor. So make sure it's clean. Not only will your filter last a long time, but your vacuum will also last a long time as well. Alright? But if you want a vacuum that you'll be able to easily find parts from, I would recommend this one here. Not to mention, I like Bagless better, even though you may have to deal with, you know, these are more dirty. With the bagged, you don't really have to worry about that much dirt, because it's just a bag, you know? But with this one, you have to clean it, and, you know, get your hands all dirty. But I still prefer this better, because, at least with this, it's not a pain in the felicity to buy bags for it, and, you know, these will last longer. You know, these vacuums, I mean, not saying this one's bad at all, but what I mean is, if you hate bagged vacuums like me, I would recommend something like this. But if you want both of these types of vacuums to last a long time, you must take care of them. With a bagged vacuum, don't let that dirt go to the motor. You're going to kill it. Now, the good thing with this one, since it's direct air, there's no area here where dirt can get to the motor. The only issue is you're going to have tons of dirt inside this compartment here, and you still don't want that. So always make sure you have a bag in it, because it would be a pain in the ass to have to clean, you know, this out, because, you know, who wants to do that? And again, with this one, always make sure this filter is in there. Always make sure it's in there. If it's not, then don't use a vacuum. See, this filter keeps that motor safe from all that dust and dirt. So do not ever use this without a filter. You see right there, dirt's gonna go right past here. All the dust will go right past here. You do not want that with your vacuum. So always make sure you have a filter in here at all times. Always. It doesn't matter if, you know, it doesn't matter at all. If this is your only machine you have and it doesn't have a filter, well, buy a filter for it. Because the filter basically keeps the motor safe from everything that you vacuum up. And yes, of course, it obviously does, you know, help with filtration, but, you know, its other purpose is to protect the motor. So what we're going to do next is we're going to do a loudness test with these two, which I'm going to turn them on. I'm going to show you what these sound like and which one's louder than the other. Because these are both loud, but one of them is louder. You're going to find out which one is louder in a minute. But yeah, I'm going to plug, we're going to test this one out first, because I'm going to plug both of them in. I'll show you what they sound like. I showed you the similarities and the differences on these, you know, how they're the same, how they're different. But now I'm going to give these both a run, and I'm going to show you what these sound like. It's going to be loud, so I recommend, especially if you're sensitive to the loud noises, please turn your volume down. It's pretty noisy, so yeah, but anyways, I'm just going to give you a demonstration of what these vacuums sound like. I'll give you a demonstration, so again, this one we're going to test first, so here we go. So yeah, this one's pretty darn loud. So yeah, if you're looking for a vacuum that's quiet, well, this one's probably not for you. But it does have some decent power, especially the fact that it's an older vacuum. It's made in 1999. This definitely has some good power compared to the newer vacuums that are created today. So if you're looking for something that, you know, is very powerful, I would definitely recommend this. However, if you're looking for something that is quiet, you know, this probably is not for you, you know. If you want something that's quiet, you know, this probably would not be your friend. Although it still picks up pretty good otherwise. You know, again, that's one good thing I'll say about it. And then we're going to test this one right here next, this red one. Show you how they're different. They do sound different. This one is not as loud. that's a good thing. But yeah, I'll give the red one a run now. I'll show you how this one here sounds compared to this one here. So yeah, this one's a little loud too, but it's not as loud as this one is. But yeah, this one is also extremely powerful. Again, if you are dying to find a vacuum that has tons of power, I would definitely recommend this one or this one. However, if you hate bags or you just don't like the loud noise, this one is probably going to be your better friend. So yeah. So next up, what I'll do, I'll show you the hoses on these and how they connect. And again, how they're different. You know, obviously the red one is clean air, and the the blue one is the direct air. But for this one here, you just take the hose off the vacuum to use it, like this. You probably can't see now, but you just take the hose off, and what you do, open up this slot here, and you place the hose in, like that. And now the hose is in place. And then for this one here, you take this and you just slide it off, and then this comes out, and then this piece, that'll just close. Then you take your hose here, you take this off, you just take your hose off the vacuum, like that, you can see. So you take the hose off the vacuum, and then you just connect it. Just like that, and now the hose is connected. So it's pretty easy with both of these vacuums to connect your hose. So here's how it looks with the hoses connected. It looks just like that. Again, these vacuums both have tons of power, which is another similarity these two have. But again, if you hate bags, this one's probably not your friend. It's more like this one is probably more of your friend, which in my opinion, I like this one more. This one is awesome too, but I like this one just a little bit more. So yeah. So again, it all depends on which style of vacuums you like better, bagged, bagless. I mean, you can like whatever you want. Now, people, you know, tend to mention how they like bagged vacuums more because they, you know, aren't as messy and filthy, which I can definitely agree with them on that. However, what I think makes bagged vacuums a pain in the butt is how you have to constantly buy bags. You know? I find that like such a pain. Because I feel like the filters in these, if you take care of them like I do, and you like literally make sure they're clean like after every single use, I feel like these filters will last longer. But you know, buying bags it's just a huge pain. It's a huge hassle, and you know, who wants to buy bags for their vacuum? You know, I bet nobody does. That you know, honestly, that's why I like bagless better. You don't have to deal with having to buy bags. Not to mention something else that's cool about the bagless. When you're vacuuming, you can see everything you pick up from inside your dirt cup, which I find that really, really interesting. So yeah, this one is the newer one. This one is the older one. You can obviously tell which one's newer. But yeah, so vacuum versus. If you want, you guys can feel free to tell me in the comments which one of these you like better. Do you like this red one more, or do you like this blue one more? Feel free to tell me your thoughts. Honestly, this one is more my friend, because this one is pretty nice. Again, this one's cool too. I like these both. But again, I prefer this one since it's bagless and it's more compact. This one I got from my friend. Well, his friend's mom gave it to me after their grandmother didn't know what to do with it. So she gave it to me. So I've had this for almost 3 years now. I got this in July 2019, so almost 3 years. And then this one I've had for 2 months. I got this on Halloween last year, 2021, and this one my neighbor George had in his truck. And, you know, I asked him what he's going to do with it. Is he going to throw it out? Is he going to keep it? And, you know, basically, he was going to throw it away. So, since I told him, you know, if you're going to throw it away, why not, can you give it to me? And, you know, he said yes. So, I got to have this one, which I fell in love with this, like, right as I saw it. And I'm happy he gave it to me, because, you know, my neighbor is such a cool guy, you know? He's really cool. So, he gave me this vacuum. It had no filter with it. It had no crevice tool, so I stole the crevice tool off of this one, and I put it on this one here. See? This crevice tool actually came with this, but I stole it off this, I put it on here. But I gave this one some new attachments, so it's not really that big of a deal. It came with everything else. This one here, it has its original extension wand, but I gave it a nice long crevice tool. So here's the extension wand for the older Featherlight, here. And then the extension wand for the newer one is right here. This extension wand is actually pretty long, honestly. Pretty long extension wand, but it does work pretty good considering this hose is crappy. But yeah. And I also stole a dusting brush off my Dirt Devil self-propelled Vision, and I put it on this one. It's this brush here. And then the dusting brush on the Featherlight, Bagless. Here it is. Again, this came with the vacuum. And again, I also put a tiny crevice tool on here. I stole this from my Bissell, and I just put it on here. So this one here has 2 crevice tools. That's pretty nice. So yeah, this is the review on these 2 vacuums. I really hope you enjoyed it. Again, it's your opinion on which one you think is better. Honestly, I prefer the bagless. You don't gotta worry about buying bags. You never have to worry about buying bags when you have these. Unlike this one. Although, if you don't really like, you know, having to get filthy, again, I would think you would probably want this one. But again, this one is like super loud, so that's why I would prefer this one, because this one is nicer. This one's bagless and it's, you know, not as loud as this one is. So yeah, well, I hope you enjoyed this video of these